Marker. We need a marker.
You mean a slate?
Yeah.
No
Yeah.
marker.
A slate.
Well, it's used for other things.
No, I know. That'd be cute to have.
Well, I mean, we don't really need it for something like
Tristan
this
has
because we
one.
just do that.
No, but it'd be cute.
Yeah, but
It
we
would be
don't
cute.
need it.
Tonight.
We don't need it. We
It'd
don't
be
need to
cute.
be doing
We'll
this.
put our little faces, the
It's
little
just
thing that
cute.
comes up.
No, that's not how you use a slate.
But it's just like a thing. It'd be
Yeah,
cute.
It's
cute.
not a thing.
It's just cute, Tristan.
Okay, you know why I use a
Please
slate
just be cute.
sometimes? I use
Because
it
you're
to...
pretentious.
Actually, that's very close.
Are
It's
we
when
recording? We are.
Yes, we are recording.
You should put this in at some point.
I probably will. When I'm working with new actors and I want them to feel like they're on a professional set, I use it just for the hell of it. I'm not actually using it.
No, I know.
Hello.
Everybody.
Hi.
We're back, and we just watched a film from Alex's Top 25. What
Yeah.
film did we just watch,
We
Alex?
watched Casablanca, which is, I believe, number 6 on my list overall. Very good movie.
It was pretty good.
And now that I've seen it again, maybe it's number 5, actually. I'm going to pull it up and see what number it is officially. Because it may deserve to move up. I guess that's for later. It is number 6.
The shit might make it onto mine.
No, 6 is good. It's right at 6.
Okay.
That's good.
Well, I guess we'll start this off as we always do. Does this film still deserve to be on your top 25?
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
It's not
like I said,
moved
I
up.
checked to see if it was going to move up. So I think 6 is right. It was 5 for a long time. But then I saw, a couple years ago, Manchester by the Sea and Hell or High Water. And things had to get shifted around a little bit. And so
Right.
it bumped it down out of the top 5. But it
Things
absolutely
change, man.
deserves to be where it is. 6, probably higher, really. Yeah, very
It's a
good.
beautiful movie.
Now, I went into this movie pretty much 99% blind.
Same.
Yeah.
I watched it a very long time ago. I was in the room while I
Yeah.
fell asleep, and my parents also fell asleep
So you
because my
had
grandfather
seen
was
it
like,
before.
"We have to see this. You guys have to see this movie."
How old are you?
I don't know. I think I was like 13.
Sure.
No.
Um,
I don't think you could appreciate this movie. that
no,
much at 13.
well, you would think that my parents would be able to appreciate this movie, but no, they fell asleep
No.
too. But
Maybe
they
you
don't.
guys were just tired.
They
like
don't have
me.
great taste in
Sure.
I want to
television
give
or
myself
movies.
props for not falling asleep, not because it wasn't
Yeah,
boring, but
but
because
you're-
I'm.
Not on a ton
Yeah.
of... So I would say that's a compliment to the movie. The fact that you didn't fall asleep
Yeah,
means it was good enough.
I love you guys. I'm very hungover. So if I act weird in this video, that is why. Full disclosure.
You kind of act weird in every video.
That's true, but I mean, like,
So she's gonna act normal
Wait,
in this one,
no,
and
no,
that's
no.
gonna be weird.
that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Gotcha. But yeah, I went into this movie completely blind. The only thing, like I say, I'm 98% blind because I knew about the scene on the cover. I knew there's an airplane and there's a
Yeah.
guy and a girl.
Well, and if you did the Great Movie Ride at Disney,
I didn't.
That's the scene. Okay,
Oh,
that's
no.
in the Great Movie Ride at Disney. That's the scene that they had animatronics acting out. Was them on the airstrip at the very end.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, I hadn't seen this either. I mean, I'm obviously very familiar with it.
Mm-hmm.
Now that I've seen it, I recognize a lot of parts.
Yeah.
All the parts.
All
yeah.
the parts.
Yeah. There's
Yeah.
like, if you haven't seen Casablanca,
Yeah.
when you watch it, you'd be like, oh wow, there's
I've
like
seen this
100
movie.
different references from like
Yeah.
television or movies.
No, I mean, I've
You
seen
have
it
seen Casablanca.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
just
yeah.
don't know it.
out
Yeah.
of context. Like, I have seen particular scenes or studied them because of the performances, and the one scene with Ingrid Bergman and what's the
Rick is this
Humphrey
Humphrey
Bogart?
Bogart.
Humphrey Bogart. There's the scene with them when she goes to get the tickets or
The papers.
the papers.
Yeah.
And there's some really interesting insight for actors about that scene.
Right before they do it.
Yeah.
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 I wrote that actually. That's my one note I wrote about this movie is that it would be funny to have like in another thing where like someone walks in on a friend and it's the friend and his girlfriend are doing like a role play of that scene before they have sex. So like she's got the gun out and she's like, I need those papers, Rick. And someone walks in on them. It's like, what is happening here?
Wow, that'd be fun.
Yeah, like that'd be a fun little joke to put in something. So I wrote that down
I
for
do-
myself as a reminder that next time I'm like writing a scene
I
where people are about to have
think
sex,
This
they're
is
doing that scene.
just on the subject of that scene and kind of looking back on all of it. I think this really is one of the most beautiful romantic movies I've ever seen. Not that it even is directly like a romance.
Yeah.
It's so many different things, but it has a really very beautiful love story.
You
that-
guys heard it. This movie takes Princess Bride's spot as Emma's favorite romance movie.
It's funny that you mentioned that because I was thinking that while this because
out.
one of
My
the
channel.
one of the things we said a lot about Princess Bride and like the one positive thing I think we could all say was like how quotable that movie is, and then you watch something like Casablanca, which is endlessly quotable,
the most quotable movie ever.
of all
It's
time.
one giant quote,
Yeah.
basically.
and
It is though. It is the most quotable movie
and
of all
an
time.
actually good movie, and you go, okay, how come Casablanca can be quotable in a good movie, and all Princess Bride can be as
Shit.
quotable in a shit movie? So
I don't think it's a shit movie,
because
but
their
whatever.
female character is complex.
yeah,
Yeah,
all their characters are complex.
They are.
they all felt very
I
real.
love the friendship between Rick and
Louis?
Louis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was great.
Right off the bat, I
Yes,
love
sir.
the practical globe that they had at the beginning.
Oh right,
the clay
that was
globe.
wonderful.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
It was really great. I was stunned by the quality of this film. I know it's on Blu-ray, so it is kind of digitally remastered, I assume.
Yeah.
But even then, a lot of I've seen a fair share of black and white movies, and I love them. But this movie had a really unique look to it. The shadows, the use
Yeah.
of shadows
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
this movie. I don't know if that's
No,
something
yeah.
that it's known for.
That
Was really interesting.
There is an argument that has gone on with a bunch of people about whether or not this is a film noir.
Huh.
Why?
Well, because it does heavily rely on shadows, mainly. Shadows are a huge part
the way
of noir.
people
Yeah.
dress and,
Yeah.
and the kind of espionage aspects of it. I would
think-
not characterize this as a film
I
noir.
don't think
wouldn't
I would
either.
either.
Yeah.
I think that it definitely
close.
has elements that
Yeah.
if someone were to say, "Oh, this is a film noir," I wouldn't just disagree with them.
Yeah.
But
in fact, I
it-
think didn't you say that to me the first time
I
we
think
kinda
I did.
talked about this movie? You said something about
Isn't Casablanca a film
yeah,
noir?
or even saying are you a fan of noir films? Because Brick, which is
I
my
am.
number one, is heavily based in film noir, and
didn't know
so and I was like, I wouldn't categorize this as a film noir.
Directly.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, if the movies can have different elements of genres in it.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
it's-
and I think that use of lighting and the shadows and stuff is heavily used in this,
Mm-hmm.
but I think that was more just stylistic of this
I think so too.
Hollywood era.
Yeah.
Like that was just they're doing it better than a lot of other movies, but I think that there were
And
probably
they
very
use
few.
it mostly in the. See, this is going to be hard for me to come up with words. The club.
Yeah, Rick's American,
Yeah.
but spelled with an I.
Casino, the what do they call it?
The saloon?
The saloon.
They called it
Thank you.
got a couple different things.
Yeah, but that was really cool.
Yeah.
I really liked it.
I have always wished that Disney in their parks in Hollywood studios would open that restaurant,
I
Rick's
was
American.
thinking that.
Because there's so much architecture that we see, and you could as a themed, and I would trust Disney to get it right, and I think that they are the ones who are in charge of whoever I think MGM distributes this, and I think Disney is currently in charge of those properties, and so I wish that they would at Hollywood Studios make a Rick's American cafe.
So well.
I
and
was
that I could
surprised
eat
at
at.
how much of the movie took place in
Yeah,
his saloon.
yeah, it's almost all in
huge.
there, and I wish they would do that, but I don't think
Where
we'll
can
ever
I
get
go
it.
to one of those? Do those exist? I imagine in Las Vegas, but anywhere else?
I would think
Does
you
anyone
could
just
go.
casually have a saloon somewhere?
I don't
We should open one.
Well, yeah.
Like a big,
let's open
like-
a saloon.
Gambling,
Yeah, not like a cheesy
bar,
casino.
and they got the live music, and
I mean, what the hell happened to that?
I wonder if maybe out in Hollywood, because those things are so associated
Yeah.
with the golden era of Hollywood, that they probably have one still operating. I mean, obviously you can't gamble in them, but
Right.
Yeah, but damn, where did that lifestyle go? I mean, I guess not everybody smokes cigarettes anymore that casually.
I was
indoors.
thinking to myself, my God, that place would smell terrible.
I would think I would like it.
Yeah. Well, then
Looks like
I
a
do
good
partially
time.
like cigarette smoke. Gives me a nostalgic
just-
feeling. My grandmother,
You
but
go sit down at a little two-seater table with the lamp in the middle, light up a cigarette. You got a French 75 in your hand. You're on top of the world.
yeah, you got a big band planned.
Oh my God! Like, what the hell happened to that?
Expensive, I imagine.
yeah, probably.
Like you gotta really, that's like the Copacabana or whatever. You gotta be like the only bar in town to be
Let's
able to
do
do that
that.
type of thing.
Or you're so good that you slowly just
Well,
become the
maybe
only bar
when
in
we
town. You drive
re-enter-
everyone else out.
We're like on the verge of re-entering a depression, so maybe that'll happen.
There you go.
Cool.
Neat.
The 20s are back, baby.
Great.
The 20s were good. This is the
You
late
know,
20s.
there's a Great Depression in the 1820s, Great Depression in the 1920s. We're due.
Yeah.
There were Nazis in this film, and that's neat.
There were Nazis in this film.
Didn't know there were going to be
weird.
Nazis.
No, that was very shocking. I was thinking to myself at the beginning of this film, for whatever reason, it reminded me of Indiana Jones, and that even, it further...
Of the
proved my-
globe, you know, is
Yeah,
reminiscent of
it
Indiana
did,
Jones.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, yeah. Maybe
Yeah.
that's why I thought of it. I couldn't
Yeah.
really figure out why, because I was on the verge of my deathbed, but,
Yeah.
you know, I mean...
and, you know, like, obviously the time periods check out because it's... But yeah, I believe the Americans getting involved in the war.
I would imagine, because everybody's
So,
trying to get...
Which is the same, which is
Yeah.
the same as...
They're still worrying about their image over there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
War does not look good.
No, not
And
after
they're
World War
still
One.
taking-
No,
You know,
the
it
first
does
time,
look good. Humphrey Bogart.
That's right.
Oh, my God.
The first time I watched this movie was for my high school history class. We watched it.
Interesting.
And I was we had a thing called Theory of Knowledge.
You've watched a few different movies on your top 25 from school, haven't you?
Yeah, well, you know,
And
I
Princess Bride.
yeah, well, that was also for the same thing. We would do these Theory of Knowledge things, which was they
You
would get the
reference
whole
that too
class
much.
together, and
Can't
they
stop.
would yeah, they would get everybody together in the high school class, and they would like screen a movie, and then we'd have to write like papers about the movie or like how we learn what we learned. It was a very stupid
Yeah,
thing,
it's not very...
but it was
you
these
can't really
like
enjoy
big
some of the
full day
movies
things.
sometimes.
But the movies we watched were Princess Bride, Casablanca, The Prestige, Life is Beautiful.
Which might be next week's
We
movie.
did watch some good
Yeah.
movies in my gifted class. I remember
So-
watching Rudy, and I really enjoyed that movie.
That's a good movie.
Rain Man
That's,
2, we watched.
Actually, both The Prestige and Rear Window I got from my film analysis teacher.
Yeah.
so-
Well, and then
You
Brick.
had a film analysis class. Oh,
Brick?
wait, you guys went to college.
College
didn't
was my
you?
film
No, this was in
analysis.
high school.
Oh, okay.
And I
That's
won an
a shame.
award for it.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brick.
Love Mr.
Brick, my
Byer.
favorite movie of all time was from my college film analysis class, my freshman year of college. But we can talk about that
take
more
a
there. But yeah,
class.
this we watched, but
Life
it was
is
in
class.
Like a real one.
Look, fine.
It's okay.
Don't
We're
not
accept
out of
my
school.
metaphor.
This was in a full auditorium of high school kids, and in Casablanca, the dialogue comes lightning fast.
Yeah.
And so I came out from that screening being like, that movie was pretty good, but I know I need to watch it again because I was
Yeah.
like, you know, it's a bunch of 16-year-olds in an auditorium could not really sit and watch and appreciate that movie.
I'm definitely not.
And I wanted to because I cared about movies and I didn't have a lot of friends. So it was
That's why you
important
have us
for me,
now.
to pay attention
Because we
to
were
the
those
movie.
kids too.
We
But it
accept you
was-
being pretentious, too.
Yeah. It was very
That's what you
difficult to
wanted.
watch.
You wanted to be able to be pretentious
I
by
wanted to be like,
enjoying that
"Guys,"
movie.
Yeah, I wanted to be like, it's my number one favorite movie. You guys just didn't understand it.
Are
But
we
I didn't understand it
pretentious?
because I couldn't catch probably a little.
A little bit.
Yeah. I mean, your favorite
Okay.
movie's Donnie Darko, so.
Does that make me pretentious?
Probably.
I just started getting a little weary when I tell people that. What's your favorite movie? Donnie Darko. You haven't seen it?
That's why
Oh.
I judge people, because my number one movie is Brick, but if I think that I'm going to get in trouble
Yeah.
for my number one being a movie that no one's ever heard of, I like to say Troy.
Yeah.
Because it's like a casual,
No, okay,
cool
so-
bro movie.
I have been dating a little bit, and I will say on every first date, I do whip out the top 25, and I'm like, what do you know?
That's smart.
What's your top 5? I need to judge you.
Yeah,
on
you
That's
that.
gotta
fantastic.
Spit out
I
the top
do,
five right
You
here.
see
actually.
that? These are now like helping with love. Love is blossoming because of our YouTube channel.
We're gonna have a new dating website that like matches people based off their top 25 films.
Does that not tell you a lot about a
I think it
person?
does.
I think so completely.
But we would think that.
Frower
it's
House
a
dating.
huge turn off when
Frower.
someone's just like, I don't really have a top 5. I don't really have
Yeah.
a favorite movie.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of
I
here.
don't really watch a lot of movies.
Done.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting to bring it back to Casablanca. I was many years ago.
Oh, this is a perfect way to get into that.
Yeah, I was kind of like seeing this girl. We were talking. God, I wonder if she remembers and if she watches
Let's
this.
give
It'd be
her a
weird.
fake name.
So I'm not gonna say her name at all.
No, a
but,
fake one.
So we were
Ingrid.
Sally.
Yeah, Ingrid, Sally. Yeah, none of those are it. So we had talked about. I'm a fan of romance movies, and we had I was a fan of The Notebook. I am a fan of The Notebook. I love that movie. I think it's very good. Nearly missed my top 25.
Really?
And I really enjoy that movie.
I've seen it one time and I was so heartbroken over that movie. I'll never watch it again.
Yeah.
It
But
hurt.
What if we review it?
I don't know.
can't wait.
I cried hard.
Sorry.
Like,
So
continue.
we had watched
Sorry.
The Notebook together, and I had talked about my love for it. I've been reading like Time Traveler's Wife and stuff like that, and she was like, "Oh, I love all these romance movies." And I said, "Well, what about
little Laszlo.
Casablanca?" And she was like, "I've never seen it." So I was like, "Well, we absolutely have to watch Casablanca.
Yes.
That's the greatest romance of all time." So we sit down one night to watch it, and I turn it on, and it starts, and the first thing she goes is this movie in black and white? Like very like she isn't gonna like it, and then like the whole time is just like. Like you can tell like that just set her off, and the fact that it was like an older movie with that
makes
kind
it
of
better.
dialogue, she was just like not into it, not feeling it, and I was like, well,
This is not
that's
gonna work
enough
out.
with this girl. And that was really, I mean, we joke about it
don't
now
blame
that
you
was
for
kind of the
that.
turning point. I mean, we still hung out a couple more times, but that was really kind of it for me. Is I was just like, if you can't like. Because she would keep trying to talk through it and wasn't really paying attention. And, like, it was clear that because it was an older black and white movie, she was just set off from the get-go and was no longer going to be
It's just
interested in
not
this
going to
movie.
work out in the end.
So, yeah.
That's not a long-term thing.
If you are a girl out there and you're dating a weird movie dude like us, at least pretend to be interested in Casablanca. Although, give it a shot, because it really is good.
It is good.
It is brilliant. Okay, was this adapted from a play, or do I have
Not
that
that
wrong
I'm
information?
aware of. It's
Okay.
definitely possible, but I feel like it's such like a
I need
pop.
to know that because I
and-
feel like my drama teacher referenced this movie for some
Okay.
reason. I didn't think it's
Because
based off of the show.
because I would have thought though that it was made very close to after World War II, so I don't know when
Maybe
the
they
show would
adapted a
come.
play from the movie.
Yeah, that I
Possibly.
believe is more likely the way that like 12 Angry Men had a play adapted afterwards. Because and that's what you talked about the quality of this movie being good and like just with the Blu-ray that is lucky because a lot of movies from this era don't have the prestige and so they are not this one has probably been very meticulously taken care of and there's many copies that are really because film degradates. Yep.
It's from a play?
Yep.
Oh.
That's why. Yeah.
Everybody comes to Rick,
Rick's.
an unproduced play.
Yeah. Which Casablanca was based off of.
Interesting.
Yep.
Remember that episode of VGHS I told you was?
Yeah.
The episode is called Everybody Comes to Brian's.
Okay. So yeah, they definitely really know their stuff.
Wow. I wonder
Yeah,
if I
there's
can
this
read it.
show called VGHS, and it has an entire episode that's just a Casablanca reference or a Casablanca parody. And me being uncultured, I didn't even realize it until I watched this movie. Because that's the thing. When it's not that I am blind. It's just that I don't want to look at any references until I just experience the full movie.
Yeah. But now you got to go back and watch that episode and see how much more you catch.
I caught a lot. They say Casablanca a lot in this movie.
They do.
Just in case you forget what movie you're watching.
Oh, where they are. Yeah.
Really helps you understand why they called it Casablanca.
Yeah.
Apparently the play is very bad. I was going to order it, but I'm not going to anymore.
Yeah. That's funny. It's because after you say that, it's like, I wonder why they've never produced that play often.
Apparently it said that Rick's character was heavily upgraded to the film, and the lead female character was
Ilsa.
A 30-year-old American woman,
Okay.
not the 20-year-old Scandinavian.
Yeah.
Well, that's a problem.
I guess it made a difference, but I loved it. I love Ingrid Bergman. I forgot that she was in this, and that was a pleasant surprise.
Yeah.
I
amazing.
love the way that characters talk in old movies anyways, but this movie was on another goddamn level.
Yeah.
And I can easily see why this is on your top 25.
Yeah.
Because,
Of course.
I don't know if you're going to believe me when I say this, but I see a lot of your writing style in this movie. Like
I mean, that's very nice of you to say, and it's certainly something that I'm always striving towards is this
Witty.
this kind of writing. Yeah, where just like, and Sorkin as well. We talked a little bit about The Social Network. And in general, I mean, it's like you said, any of my movies, the reason they are on my list is because of the writing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I mean,
love
that
the
goes on. Like,
script.
I mean, all your movies seem to be because of the writing.
Yeah.
Emma's are because
I've-
of
the performances.
the actor performances.
And
and mine are
the
just kind of like the overall feelings,
ambiguous
how they make
concept.
me feel.
Yeah.
That's amazing. No, I am really starting to like a lot of your movies. I've started watching more of Fincher's.
Yeah, I need
I just
to.
watched
Good job,
Zo-
Alex. She
Yeah,
hates all
but
of mine.
Here's
I
the
just
thing,
watched Zodiac. It
I
was
have not
great.
seen Zodiac.
Oh god.
Yeah.
Oh, we need to watch it.
Yeah. It's
Holy shit.
Yeah, it's been
Amazing.
Oh, it was really fucking good.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch it.
Okay. I would.
We'll
I
watch
will
it.
rewatch
We'll watch it
it.
sometime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do a reaction to Zodiac. It's good.
Yeah, I'm sure I would like it.
The amount of work that he put into that
Yeah.
movie being like, as authentic as possible.
Yeah,
is
yeah. I've
incredible.
heard some really
Like
great
he
stuff
literally
about that movie.
filmed murders in the same clothes on the same exact day of the year at the exact time that they happened. Like
Wow.
totally authentic.
That's a little ridiculous.
It's kind of creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, that's a
But
little
one of
goofy.
the murder victims who got away from the Zodiac actually said that he appreciated Fincher's attention to detail there. It was
Ah, that's
if
good.
you're going to tell the story, you might as well tell the
Yeah.
true story.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
As true as possible. Yeah, no, but I do appreciate that, and I do love the dialogue in this movie. It is
It's beautiful.
Oh.
Yeah.
There's a few lines that just stood out to me. Like
Yep.
when they were talking about Laszlo's
me
reputation
too.
for
I
one.
have- that's the only thing I wrote
They
down.
say, of course I have respect for him. He's impressed half the world. And then they reply, well, it's our mission that he doesn't impress the other half of
Yeah,
the world.
yeah.
Like, ooh, that is all I needed to know about this
yeah,
character.
yeah.
In that
I-
one fucking line.
Rick's
Yeah.
delivery after the woman asks him, "Where were you last night?" He says, "It was so long ago, I don't remember."
Yeah, and then she says, "What are you doing tonight?" And he says, "I never make plans that far in advance." Yeah, that's a great.
He, it's the ultimate. I don't even know what to call
Yeah.
him. Like, not he's badass, but
The movie
Yeah.
is poetry.
yeah, it is.
Just flows so perfectly.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that, there's always
It's
comments
just
like,
hard to pick this apart at
if
all.
you were to
It's
look at this and you were like
it's so good.
Yeah.
if you were an asshole, you could say, oh, no one in real life talks like so fluently and
Yeah,
so
yeah.
smoothly. The
Right.
conversations don't roll like that.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Yeah. Who wants that in a movie? People
I've tried doing
I've
that in my
seen-
own movies and it doesn't work.
I've seen that. The one that always comes to the top of my head is a movie called Drinking Buddies, which seemed to be, and it had a lot of talent in it, that movie, and it seemed like what their main goal was to
That's on
make it as
Netflix.
real. Yeah, it's on Netflix.
Yeah.
As real life as possible. And what happened was they made a very boring movie, and I'm like, this is successful, and that I do feel like there's a lot of
Yeah.
awkward pauses or just sentences that lead nowhere or people just kind of stumbling. And I'm like, yeah, this seems super realistic.
It did its goal.
And I was like, but I hate it.
Yeah,
I would
the
much
reason-
rather watch, Social Network.
9
or-
times out of 10, the reason I'm going to watch a movie, not only for escapism, but is
Yeah.
to be intellectually and emotionally stimulated. And that's not going to happen if I'm just watching
Yeah.
an everyday conversation.
And
Right.
and just the fact that people, talk in an entertaining way does not prohibit a movie from having a real world impact.
Right.
You can be talking about something and saying something real in however way you want. It's not like, if it's just
Yeah.
if the dialogue is for entertainment purposes and the movie is only for entertainment purposes. The movie can say something with interesting dialogue. In fact, it will probably say more with flowery or witty and quick dialogue. So yeah, I never like when people say that. I never like when
It's
people
very
pick apart.
Shakespearean.
There was
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys, have you guys heard of the musical If Then?
I've heard of it.
Have
I
you
don't know
heard the
anything about
soundtrack of everything?
Some of it.
They set out to make a musical with lyrics that are just very conversational and how
Sure.
people actually talk.
it. Yeah.
So there's a lot of ums in the music. There's a
Yeah.
lot of F-bombs in the music. All the music is very conversational.
Yeah.
Great show.
That's why I like Next to Normal.
I haven't seen it.
Oh, it's so good.
It's very good.
Well, that's not too surprising for me.
A lot of the songs are somewhat conversational.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's talk about if I were a woman, I would be very lucky to have him.
Yeah.
The original I ain't gay, but
Oh, yeah.
well, no homo.
No homo.
Yeah, he also says later, last night she was asking about you in a way that made me very jealous. When he's talking to Rick, he goes to Ilsa, he says, this is, you guys know each other already. He says to Rick, last night she was asking about you in a way that made me very jealous. And I was like, dude, these guys really are in love.
I mean, shit.
Yeah.
I wouldn't blame you guys, anybody,
No,
for being in love with
no.
that man.
Rick, I'm in love with Rick.
Yeah, I'm in love with Rick.
I get it.
Oh, hell yeah.
We need to have a support group.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
Yes, Rick was also wonderful, but I also really enjoyed,
Ilsa?
Sam.
No, Laszlo, Victor.
yes,
Victor
Victor
Laszlo.
Laszlo.
Yeah, I mean, he's
What
just
a
like,
man.
yeah, he is, and it's good because at the end of the day, if you are just like a guy trying your best to do what's right, and he's not as like fluent as Rick or as cool and calm as Rick, but he cares about things. He doesn't care that people know he cares, and it's like, at the end you're happy that he won. Because like that's,
yes.
to me it's like not even won, right? But he gets the girl and he deserves the girl. And the way that like in the Notebook, James Marsden's character, he deserves the girl.
Yeah.
But
and vice versa as well.
Yeah. And they are better together, and that's really at the end of the day what the coolest thing about Rick is.
Yeah.
Is that he realizes
He acknowledges that, and
He acknowledges the bro code.
Yeah, he knows she's better with him.
and that's love.
Yeah.
That's the truest depiction of love. I think that's what made it.
If you
for
love
me.
someone, let him free.
Yeah, that you go,
You love someone, you want what's best for them, and sometimes that may not be you.
just because I'm the coolest
guy
with the ice.
And you want to
his
step
lines,
further to
with the full white suits
and that of course, women will be drawn to me despite what's best for them.
Yeah.
But I don't have to be drawn to. I don't have to let my ego be so that I take
have
them
to
away
take
from.
them.
Yeah.
And he went as far to save them what could potentially be the only damaging moment in their future by saying, just so you know, she came to me, she tried to pull all of this stuff, pretend to still be in love with me, but I could see right through it. She's clearly not.
Yeah. Which is and she doesn't even believe it at that point. But he says that to make sure that if something comes out that
the same
get ahead of the story.
Relationship
Yeah,
stays
so
there.
get ahead of the story to Victor so that Victor never
And also he knew.
Yeah.
And he still loved her.
He's
I also liked
there's a lot of talk about a certain cool Rick going around in pop culture right now, but that Rick Sanchez is never going to be as cool as Rick from Casablanca. He's the coolest
same thing.
He's the coolest pop culture Rick. Of all the Ricks in pop culture, Rick from Casablanca
give you that.
is the coolest pop culture Rick.
Yeah.
I will give you that.
He absolutely is.
But I love
I mean, I love Rick and Morty, but coolest pop culture Rick goes to.
Oh God. I watched so many episodes last night.
Yeah.
Yes. I
So
love it.
Sam's the best.
Yes.
Love
Love
Sam.
Sam.
The pianist.
Oh,
Best friends.
Sam.
Mm-hmm.
I really, him and his piano, they need like a spin-off.
My headcanon
Not worth it.
is that once Rick decides he's staying, but he is going to have to flee Casablanca
Yeah.
at the end,
Sam
that
gets
he
to go
does
with
go
him.
back to his cafe because he sells his cafe to the guy who owns the Blue Parrot, and they negotiate, and that Sam, he says part of the contract is that Sam keeps his 10% stake in the bar. And so I hope that he goes back. It's like, hey, look, you're all set up with the guy from the Blue Parrot with your 10% stake, but if you want to cash out and come with me to wherever I'm headed next to lead a revolution,
Yeah.
and that Sam goes. I like to believe that, although it's probably not what the writers would tell me happened. They probably say that.
Well, that's
Sam
the
is
whole
out.
point
I
of
like
it being
that.
open to interpretation.
Yeah.
I mean, Sam left with him once.
Yeah,
Might do it again.
Sam left. Well, but Sam had to get out of Paris with him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is he happy there though?
I hope
Seems
so.
like it.
He seems
I
to
think
love
so.
being where Rick is. He's got
Yeah,
Rick's
man.
back.
Yeah.
That's a good depiction of friendship in a movie.
It was-
is Rick and
so
Sam.
The whole depiction of all kinds of relationships
Yeah.
here were great.
My-
and
Yeah.
I was gonna say I for the era that this movie was made in, I really do like Ingrid Bergman's character. I think she's really strong.
Yep.
Absolutely.
And it wasn't really the man's choice ever, even though that's kind of the way it seemed.
Yeah.
In the end, it really was her choice in a way too. It was totally equal. There was equality
Yeah.
in this movie that I really appreciated.
I still
didn't
love
expect.
I still loved the line, you told me I'm in charge of the thinking. Well, I've been doing a lot of it, and this is the only conclusion I can see.
Yeah.
That was great.
But it wasn't there's no mansplaining.
No,
to
it-
me,
it
it
wasn't.
didn't seem like it was.
No, that was really just
and
me
that
saying
was
I love
kind
that
of
line.
that was surprising, pleasantly surprising.
Yep.
Yeah.
And even they don't directly present the Rick Sam relationship as being like only boss and employee.
No,
you know,
they
they are
don't.
friends and that they
You
look
get
out
that
for
in
each
that-
other
that- in
constantly.
Scene
Yeah.
where he's drinking.
Yeah,
at
he's
the bar
that's what I was
exposed.
saying. That's my favorite scene in the movie when he's
Yep.
drinking after the bars because he's sad and he's trying to get
drive around all night. Let's get
yeah,
drunk.
and he's like, let's get drunk, and he's like trying to get him to stop thinking about it, and he's, oh, I can't remember as time goes by and all that stuff. That
Also,
was
beautiful song.
I was in
God.
is it the Grand Floridian in Disney World,
Uh-huh.
and they have a pianist out in the middle, and the pianist was playing as time goes by,
No
and
fucking
I
way.
was with my brother,
I would have cried.
and I was like, I'm gonna go up. And I'm gonna slam my fist on the piano, and I'm say, I thought I told you never to play that song. I was like, I'm gonna do it.
You do
and
it?
I was like 4 steps away, and the song finished.
No!
I just turned around and walked away. But I'm dead serious. I'm gonna
Oh,
do that as a
shit!
pianist. And every time I go to Grand Floridian, I think if they're playing that song, I'm gonna do it this time. But I was very serious about it, but I didn't get there in time. And I swear the dude saw me coming. It must have happened because he finished up real quickly.
I wonder if people have done that before.
yeah. But I was like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna slam on the piano and say, I thought I told you
Yeah.
never to play that song.
Yeah, in that scene, again, one of the most quotable lines.
Yeah.
I don't know the whole line altogether, but of all the gin joints.
Of all the gin joints in all the towns in all the world, she walks into mine. Yeah.
What? Oh God, that line.
Yeah.
It was amazing just how much, the flashback scene was not very long.
I
Must have been, maybe 6
a little
minutes,
thrown
7
off
minutes.
by that flashback scene. I don't know if it's because I was dead
Yeah.
internally, but I didn't realize there was a flashback happening when it was happening.
No, then yeah,
You're
you were
"Why are we in
dead.
Paris.
I thought that was Victor. I was like, what is the point of this 10-minute long scene of them?
of her other husband.
I was so thrown off. And then I saw that Sam and them were there, and I was like, wait, how did they get there?
Well, the amount of weight that I felt, after they cut immediately to her coming back into the bar afterwards,
What is...
it's the camera. It's doing stupid things.
It did it again.
Ugh.
We died.
Yeah, just shut it off.
We died. So we're gone there.
Yeah, we're gone.
Okay.
Why am I waving to that one? No, don't even know. I'm thrown off now.
Don't worry about it.
Anyways, but yeah, the amount of weight that I feel just from seeing her from in the doorway after that 10-minute scene,
yeah.
Yeah.
it physically hurt me because
Yeah.
I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah.
I want to see what happens now.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was just fantastic. I loved how their story was told. I loved how it completed. And he even said, this story doesn't have an ending quite yet.
Yeah.
And we got that ending
Yeah.
with him saying goodbye to her on the plane.
Yeah. And
Beautiful.
saying that even the idea that he was angry and sad, and now he's just a little bit sad, but he accepts it, and he says, it was because you came to Casablanca that I was able to really get past. He can move on with his life. Yeah.
It's like we have Paris now because you came back here. We wouldn't have had that had you
Yeah,
not
yeah,
done
yeah.
that.
It wouldn't have been a good memory unless you came back here to
Yeah.
Casablanca.
Which
and,
it's a really great
Well, it's more like
sentimental message
didn't they say
about
at one point, we'll just have Paris to we'll always have Paris?
yeah.
yeah.
So it went from being just a memory to something
Yeah.
that he
Yeah.
can have for the rest of his
Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
Which is the best thing you can do when you have a meaningful relationship with somebody that doesn't necessarily end
Yeah.
terribly.
No, it's the best breakup movie.
Yeah.
Every breakup, I watch Casablanca for sure.
I think
like,
I
it's,
will
That
now,
seems
too.
like a terrible
it's
idea.
no, it's
No.
an amazing breakup movie because you get to feel a
Yeah.
lot of things. You just go through it, but you get the kind of happy end.
Okay.
I think you said you hadn't seen Call Me by Your Name.
I have some Call Me by
You
Your
have.
Name.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that's kind of my breakup movie.
Yeah.
With
yeah.
the dad's speech at the end.
Yes.
to
Yeah.
him.
Yeah. I love
think
that.
That sums up getting past a relationship and accepting it for what it is, but
Yeah.
not forgetting it.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
being able to move forward.
No, I love that scene.
It's
Yeah.
one of the most beautiful moments on film.
Yeah.
I just watch How I Met Your Mother.
Yeah. No, that's
You're gonna
it's
watch Call Me by Your Name, so maybe I will make that my
Yeah.
my.
Do
my
Liz and I have to
choice
break up
next.
first?
No.
Okay.
I watched.
definitely appreciate it.
Brick's a pretty good breakup movie too, and I watch them both. Whenever if I'm going through a tough breakup, I watch both Casablanca and Brick, and they're good. Yeah.
Grieving processing movies.
Yeah. I mean, I watch them both all the time,
Yeah,
but
of course,
I definitely bring them
But
because they're both on my
that's-
top.
So that's
10.
how Donnie Darko
But-
is for me. Like
yeah.
I go to that movie for different reasons
Yeah.
all the time, but it can help.
And weirdly, the
process
first
multiple
time I
things.
saw both Casablanca and Brick, I was going through troubled relationship spots, and you watch it, and I think part of I've talked about this with my family has also made top 25, and that a big part of it is really you know, when you see the movie. It's not just about how good the movie is. You have to see a really good movie at a certain time in your life when it hits you.
Yeah.
And Casablanca, not actually. So the first time when I watched it in school, it didn't really hit me. But the second time I watched it, where I really fell in love, I was homesick, and it was on like Turner Classic Movies, and I was like, oh, this is my chance to watch it over again. And I watched it. I was homesick, and I was having a tough time with the girl, and it just like boom.
Because
I was like, that's one of the best movies I've ever seen.
I was gonna say, because of how you watched it, I know you fell asleep, but when you were 13, I don't think you can fully understand the weight that this movie has and what it means unless you've experienced something similar in your life.
Yeah.
Because then you're able to relate to it more, and
whether that thing is a breakup or leading resistance against Nazis, which is getting strangely more relevant these days.
This was actually moderately relevant to today's situation.
That brings me to...
it really is a timely piece.
I think so.
Yeah.
That brings me to my the last note I actually have, and it's a little bit of sidetrack, and it's, again, another line appreciation. It comes from Laszlo, because, you know, the more I think about him, the more, my God, this man's badass.
Oh, he's amazing.
He was badass in the movie. He's even more badass the more thought I give him. If I didn't give in to you in the concentration camp where you had access to much more persuasive methods, what makes you think I'll give in to you now?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
That whole scene was so quiet, but tense.
Yeah.
It was beautiful.
Yeah.
Gorgeous.
No, it's a movie that, like, it's cool that they just don't really do nowadays anymore. Like, I don't think Hollywood will let them make movies where you can, like, have an entire movie filled with, like, tension and war and really Casablanca is a war movie, but, like, 3 gunshots are fired in the entire movie. You know, it's a movie about war and about World War II, and there's 3 gunshots the whole movie. And, you know, 2 people die, 3 people die. That's
There's that guy at the beginning.
There's the guy at the beginning.
He got shot 3 times.
Yeah, the extra. There's the guy with the papers who gets killed off screen in prison, and then there's the Gestapo officer who Rick shoots at the end at the phone, and that's it. That's all you need, and it's still
a different type of war movie.
And you know the way that they're able to like present the conflict. You know, one of the best scenes in the movie is when the Germans are singing their occupied France national anthem,
Vive la France.
and then Ilsa and Laszlo lead the rest of the patrons in Rick's bar to sing the original French national anthem to like drown out the Nazis is so powerful and an amazing scene. And it's all in French, so you don't really know anything. But you get it, and you don't even have to understand what those songs are. You don't have to know what the origin is. You just know this is about war and this is about patriotism and fighting Nazis. And I love a movie where you can fight Nazis and
fighting Nazis is cool again.
That's why Lightning by Dean Koontz is my favorite book ever, because it has almost everything that this movie has, except for time travel.
Lightning has time travel.
Right. Where was time travel in this movie?
It's got war, romance, time traveling Nazis. It's got science, it's quantum physics, and like romances. It's beautiful.
All right.
You should read it. You should read that book.
I'll read Lightning by Dean Koontz. I always thought he was like a horror author.
It has
I don't know. Time traveling Nazis sounds pretty horror.
It has everything. It has horror. It's very, very sad. It has alternate universes. It's tragedy. It's romantic. It's a beautiful book. It reminds me a lot of this movie. This is a hard movie to not talk about. Like, I could hear you talk about it for the next 3 hours. I mean, you know a lot about it. This movie means a lot to you. I'm just a little stunned by how perfect it was, for lack of a better word.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason when you go to, like, you know, IMDb's list or, like, just regular, like, kind of aggregate critics list that this movie is, like, consistently
100%
top
on
5.
Metacritic.
Yeah, I mean, because it is hard to find problems with this movie.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, it is.
And beyond that, at the time it was made, I mean, however many films existed at that point in time, this really was, what am I trying to say? Brain. Tequila brain. It stands the test of time.
Yeah.
You know,
it's almost ahead of its time
film.
because of, like...
That's kind of what I'm trying to...
Yeah, like, you know, you think about how many movies are being made, and even how many movies are being made now, for something to have the staying power that Casablanca has.
Yeah.
You know, you have to be, you know, to where you can compare it to the best films that we're making right now. and say,
There
well,
is
it's
no
still
comparison,
ahead.
no.
Yeah.
It is, but it's so
Yeah.
unlike anything we have
Yeah.
right now. But so much comes from
Absolutely.
what was made in this
Yeah,
movie.
I have this argument with Hunter, who you may have seen from our Spider-Man review
Yeah.
or various other, when he'll be around, where I believe strongly that movies are getting better as time goes on, and he believes that movies like kind of stopped being good.
No, I
That,
agree
like,
with you.
We're just worse, but I think they're being better. But it is hard to hold that stance when you watch Casablanca.
True.
Because
It's also true.
like they perfected it with Casablanca, and now we're just on our way to
Yeah.
getting back to it.
Mm-hmm.
And I do think we're getting closer than like the 80s. You talk about like whatever quote unquote good movies in the 80s, and that's a lot of that stuff is
There's always
just
wonderful films
action-y
coming
crap.
out. You just can't
yes
pick them out
Yeah.
in the moment.
Yeah,
you
you
can
know,
look
it's-
back on the past 10 years and pick out what great movies have
Right.
come from the
yeah
past
because they're
decade.
the ones that are from the 40s. We only have the good ones left.
Exactly.
Because all of the bad ones we let rot in a warehouse because you couldn't preserve films back then.
Yeah.
So we only have the good ones. So it's easy to look back at the 40s and go, well, it was only good movies. But there was a ton of
Because-
garbage.
I'm
That,
sure.
the silent film era, there were more films made in like 20s than we ever make right now. But
I didn't know that.
they all got lost to time. So,
Every time you think that we're approaching the death of good movies,
yeah.
then it finally happens.
Yeah, and like I can
Paddington
understand...
2.
All right.
That'd be a good concept for a film.
Hmm.
Yeah, Tristan?
Yes.
Rediscovering lost films of
I mean,
those eras.
yeah, actually that is, you should watch the movie Hugo.
Be right back.
Yeah.
It's almost that exact premise.
Really?
Hugo is an excellent film, which I also watched for a class, and it's like a Scorsese movie, but it was kind of for children, and I was like, oh, this is going to be stupid, and then I watched it, and I was like, that was incredible, and then I got to class, and the teacher said, I bet you guys are wondering why I made you watch that bad movie. And I was like, no, what? It was so good. Hugo
That's
is
the
very
concept?
good. Yeah, it is about, finding... It's kind of, this is a little bit of a spoiler, but it does, it's about, the lost work of an older
Okay.
famous director from the 1920s,
Oh, shit.
and like rediscovering because he's older,
yeah.
and all that, and it is very good. You should watch.
Oh, well, what the hell? It's still my
Hugo.
movie idea.
And Martin Scorsese. I mean,
Wouldn't be the
I
first
think
time.
that it's
I'll tell you this after.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with this movie, so.
but
I have no more notes.
no,
Don't either. I apologize for my, quietness.
I did say before we started this that this may be one of our shorter ones because it is so hard to really say something new about Casablanca or something,
Yeah.
that is even like a hot take, because I think people in general want, kind of hot takes, but there is no hot takes in this film. It is
This is a very pure film. It's a
Yeah.
treasure.
Yeah.
And I think if
Protect
we ever made
it.
a capsule of most important works made by man, this movie should probably be in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Agreed.
This is going to go on my list.
that's good. That's good to
This is
hear.
the first one
Yeah, it's
that you
probably
showed me
gonna make
that's
it on
gonna
mine
go
too.
I think it deserves to be on almost every list. I think it's one of the few lists my brother and I share, or movies on our list that we share. I think. I actually don't know.
I swear to God, if after
I
all
hope
of this,
so.
we pretty much all just have the same list because of Alex's
Nah,
films.
We won't.
I
We won't.
don't think that'll happen. But I think
won't.
I hope this isn't the last one I get.
I
Probably
think
not.
Prestige may, if you're hyping it up for me as much as you
Yeah,
are.
I think there's a good chance you get that.
Yeah.
And then because
Yay.
then all three of us would have Prestige.
Dope.
Nice.
But I didn't get Oculus on either of your
Yeah.
lists, and
I
I didn't
enjoyed
get.
it. It was
I may
fun.
get Social Network on your guys' list.
That is going on there.
It may go on to mine.
I've already
Yeah.
decided.
So I'm 2 for 3.
Yeah, I'm 0. That's fine.
You guys don't want What's Eating Gopher Grape, and you definitely don't want American Psycho.
No.
It's okay.
Shall we do ratings?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we know what we're gonna do.
All right, let's say it all at one time, yeah?
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
A+.
A plus or Emma plus, as we've decided. We have a new ranking system.
Yeah, we were talking about a new ranking system after
Excuse
our
me?
Spider-Man Far
one.
From Home
Were we?
review.
Yeah, where
You responded to this.
Yeah,
I did?
The
Yes.
most
Oh, I was
positive.
drunk at that point.
Yeah,
That's right.
the most
Maybe I
positive
drank
would
that
be
whole bottle of wine during that discussion.
would be Emma, then Tristan, then Alex, then Hunter. So if you hate the movie, you
You're
give
a
it a
Hunter.
Hunter.
It's Give It a Hunter.
Oh my
Yeah.
god, yes!
Yes, I guess be flattered or everything, but this is really because, you're always the most positive about movies.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, good for you.
It's a good thing. I'm gonna take it. If you're gonna
Um,
call Casablanca an Emma movie, then yeah.
Yeah, it's an Emma plus.
Emma plus.
Emma plus.
Yay!
We need little PNGs of all of our faces.
Yeah.
Please
For Hunter, I'm just gonna put swing guy.
Yeah. Deep cut.
But yeah, absolute A+, 100%.
Yeah. And you know, my list, I counted it. It's like 20 out of my 25 movies were made after 1990, and like 19 or something. No, like 17 were made after 2000. So this is one of the very few older movies on my list, but it really is. I mean, you know, I have a lot of sentimental attachment to the other movies that are higher on the list, but in terms of just like sheer, you know, movie making, this is should be number one if I was going purely off objective.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This would be the clear number one, and for a while it was the number one. But you know, I kind of let my.
This is probably one of the greatest movies I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, that's that, guys.
If you haven't seen it, check it out.
Yeah, we'll see you next week.
Don't die before you watch this movie.
Yeah, definitely. I'm sure that's on
Yeah. Try
those
not to-
1,000 movies that you have to see before you die.
Try not to die at all. But if you are going to watch Casablanca,
This is probably top 5 movies you have to see before you die. The only movie you have to
Honestly.
see before you die.
The only
yeah.
thing you have to do before you die. Before Tristan kills you.
Yeah.
And eats you.
Yeah, I'll take it. I was gonna say we'd all be waiting under their bed, but I guess it's more likely it'll just be me.
All right.
All right.
All right.
I'll
Thanks
see
for
you in your
joining us.
dreams.
Bye.
Bye.